Base is dropped on Thursday thoughts here at Soccer Down Here, and traditionally this is the day that we kind of get you ready for the weekend. Very, very big weekend because we do have Friday night football, and it's the beginning of the Premier League season. We'll be spending a lot of time catching up with some of the managers and the principals as everyone is trying to make sure that they can get players in and integrated, or at least in uniform, and have the pictures taken and have all of the contracts signed before the first match on Friday afternoon here on the East Coast, Friday Night Football in England. We will let you know what's going on with everything going on with transfers. We're going to go backward into last night in Major League Soccer. 4 matches were there in the midweek, and we will show you the highlights of what happened there. And it was interesting results, and one of the results took a lot longer than the others because of Mother Nature. And that was Columbus and FC Montreal, soon to be Impact, probably, hopefully, maybe, coming up just a little bit. We'll give you the highlights of Charlotte and D.C., highlights of Columbus and Montreal, highlights of Portland and Nashville, and highlight of San Jose and Inter Miami as they met for the first time in their franchise histories with Major League Soccer. We'll get you ready for everything else that's going on today in the world of soccer. We'll get you through juice boxes. We'll get you through all the matchups. Get you through all of the television that you need to keep an eye on. So it'll be a very, very packed show here on your Thursday. Just to give you an idea about programming here on the network later today, we will catch up with both sides getting ready for the NPSL final. It'll be conversations with our friends from Crossfire Redmond and from FC Motown. The match is the NPSL Championship scheduled for this weekend, and it's going to be held at Montclair. It's going to be held at Montclair State University, and the NPSL will have a champion by the end of the weekend. Also, we're going to be previewing the UPSL Final Four and getting you ready for that championship this weekend as well, so we'll have some interviews there, and that'll be posted as well. Nico Moreno with his visit will be around dinner time because Seattle's kind of busy right now. They've got a match to prepare for with Atlanta United. So we'll be catching up with Nico around dinner time tonight. So very, very busy day. A lot of different leagues chasing after championships, teams in Major League Soccer chasing after games on the road in the midweek. And so very, very busy day here on the network. Tomorrow, once again, we'll have the weekend whip-around, patent pending, trademark coming, and we'll let you know what's going on with those particular matchups. But we'll start things off with the opening kickoff, morning kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com. And you can also follow along on social media with Kickoff Coffee. Go to Kickoff Coffee CO on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And thanks to everyone who has been investing in Kickoff Coffee so far. If you use the code SoccerDownHere15, then you can get 15% off of your investment in Kickoff Coffee, and the investment in starting off your day however you wish. Well, or maybe you just like coffee throughout the day, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a breakfast thing. It can be a throughout the day thing. Soccer Down Here 15 is your code, and that will get 15% off your purchase at Kickoff Coffee. But remember that when you invest in Kickoff Coffee invests in youth development. 10% of their proceeds are spun back toward youth development. Very, very cool stuff that our friends at Kickoff Coffee are doing. And so kickoffcoffeeco.com, Soccer Down Here 15, gets you 15% off, 10% of the proceeds rolled back into youth development. Very, very cool stuff with our friends at Kickoff Coffee. And as our morning kickoff, want to thank them, want to thank our friends at American Football Provisions, and want to thank everybody who came out to Red Hair Brewing last night and kind of hung out with us as we had our discussion about the Academy. It was great to catch up with Academy Director Matt Lowry, and it was also great to catch up with Kevin Kratz. I got the chance to catch up with Matt, and Jarrett got the chance to catch up with Kevin, and Jason got to catch up with both of them with questions that everybody had at Red Hair Brewing last night. And that show will be popping up on the network. If you missed it live, we'll be posting that on the network as well, coming up in short order on your Wednesday as well. So that was your public service reminder about all the programming. If you missed what happened at Red Hair, great discussion about the Academy, catching up with the Academy director and a guy who's learning things in the coaching aspect of it now. Matt Lowry and Kevin Kratz from the Atlanta United Academy. that show from Red Hair Brewing will be up on the network in short order. And next week we will be down on the south side in the Southern Crescent at Wild Heaven on Thursday. So it'll be great to see everybody down on the Southern Crescent next week. But just your public service reminder is your morning kickoff this morning that the show from Red Hair, where we got to go into a deep dive into the academy and how important it is for Atlanta United. Great stuff from everybody that was there. Big thanks to Atlanta United for helping orchestrate that at Red Hair as well. So fun night at Red Hair, and we got to dodge the raindrops, but we were under a tent, and it was pretty cool, but we did have to get some dry seats at points. But Matt Lowry, Kevin Kratz, and it was Jason, Jarrett, and myself all last night at Red Hair, thanks to the Flood Project for orchestrating all of our remotes and getting to catch up with a lot of folks across the board this season. It's been really fun. We've got 2 more this month as we get into the tail end of the MLS season. Doesn't mean we won't stop doing them, but we've got 2 more this month, and we'll keep pushing on through in September and October and for the rest of 2022. But, yeah, your public service reminder is your morning kickoff that the Red Hair Brewing Show will be posted as well later on this afternoon. Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com on the internets. You can also follow along at Kickoff Coffee on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Soccer Down Here 15 is your code to get 15% off all of your investment in Kickoff Coffee. And Kickoff Coffee then in turn takes 10% of their proceeds, rolls it into youth development. So very, very cool stuff from our friends at Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com, and that is your morning kickoff. So let's get you into the action from last night in Major League Soccer. 4 matches that were on the board started at 7 o'clock, and DC United got to go on the road for the first time under Wayne Rooney. And it was a bit of a reminder that DC United has a lot of work to do. Going into the match at Bank of America Stadium in the lower bowl, Charlotte was a -118. Your draw was a +277. DC United basically a +300. Here's your highlights, courtesy of Charlotte FC Television and WFNZ with our friends Will Pelagic and Jessica Charman on the call. A combination of all the 3 goals on the board for Charlotte on the night.
He is the danger man for DC United, a team reinvigorated by Wayne Rooney's arrival. And off of kickoff, Swiderski goes for goals. Well, the ball kicked into play. Has overcome a deficit by scoring 2 stoppage time goals. Swiderski reels it in. Looking for Reina! Reina right into Romo! Deflected back. He gets it. 1-2 with Mona. Slightly overhit, but he'll catch up with it. Swiderski wants service. He's going to get it. Swiderski deflected, palmed away, but it's in! Oh, it took a few bounces, but in the end it counts for Charlotte FC! 13 minutes in, the Crown have their lead in front of home fans!
And the goalkeeper. And then it comes off of Steve Birnbaum. It looks like Quinn McNeil's in there.
Mora has Reina for company. Everybody back for DC. Reina swings it in. Here's McKenzie Gaines! Oh, slapped away! What a save from Rafael Romo! So close to being 2-0 for the Crown.
The ball and he swings one in. What a great area that is. Mackenzie Gaines assesses it so well. He does everything right there. It's a great save by Romo. Wow, that's a great save. Unlucky Mackenzie Gaines. Yordi Reina, good stuff. Mackenzie Gaines gets a bump.
McNeil to Swiderski. Swiderski to Gaines. Gaines to Brent Bronico! Side netting! Oh, for a split second, it looked like it had gone in. It's a corner instead. Somebody's got to attack the box. Swiderski towards the penalty spot. Quinn McNeil winning
well done,
it.
Quinn.
Authoritative from Quinn McNeil.
That's what I'm talking about.
Brent Bronico looking for Bender. Bender to Reina on the half volley save. Swiderski into an open net, and Charlotte have doubled their leads.
2-0 lead in the 66th minute, wanting more. Bender playing it forward for Joseph Moore on the left side in the last third. Moore with a cross to the middle, headed by Swiderski. A shot, save made. Gaines with a rebound, back a shot. He scores! And Quinn McNeil has his first MLS goal.
time, right finish.
So big win for Charlotte. They go on to win it 3-0, and that gets us to the second kickoff of the night, but it wasn't the second finish of the night, I don't believe. Columbus Crew and CF Montreal, soon to be Impact, probably, hopefully, in short order, patent pending, trademark coming. This one went for a while, and weather delays, and Mother Nature was in charge, and here's your highlights from this match, and it was a great comeback for CF Montreal by the time it was done. Columbus was a -111 going in. Your draw was a +261. CF Montreal a +292. Here's your highlights, courtesy of our friends at Major League Soccer and Fox Sports Ohio.
Santos trying from the opposite wing. Here's Zelarayan on a redirection. The Crew lifeline. The last 5 games. Lucas Zelarayan scores for the second straight. 1-0.
Healthy deflection, pops it into the ground. There's nothing Breza can do about that. Good awareness by Steven Moreira. Kyoto is so quick on the release. Even outquicked his teammates.
Johnston. Kamara! There it is! It had been brewing. And he hops his way into a tie for third all-time with his 134th goal.
Can't give Kai Kamara a free run here. Mensah sizes him up at the end, but look at him just wait. And that's such good patience from Kamara. So many players will outrun that, then have to reverse. He just waits to see where the flight of the ball is. Then he starts his run. He meets it perfectly.
Apolainen, Kyoto stays keen on it. Kone around to Johnston. Kamara again, and Aloy Room might have just denied a Montreal winner. They didn't get it done on the weekend against New York City.
You have to say, good.
Oh, the control here! It's a winner! It's a stunner! It's Joel Waterman! The Crew have been rained on one too many times.
Keeping possession is Montreal. The ball in behind, it leaves Waterman. Really good touch for him to set himself up on his right foot.
And he's a big reason. A big reason with that wingspan.
Or Bally Sports Ohio, as they're known these days. 2 goals given up in the final 94 to 7 minutes. So CF Montreal gets full points, 2-1 win over Columbus Crew. 2 MLS After Dark kicks, and one was in San Jose at PayPal Park. It was a real easy one to figure, but 1 goal on the board. First time that these 2 teams, Inter Miami and San Jose Earthquakes, met. Here's some of your highlights from this one, even though only 1 goal was scored, as San Jose was a -108. Your draw was a +283. Inter Miami was a +258, courtesy of our friends at NBC Sports Bay Area and Major League Soccer.
And wide it goes. This is Taylor working against Espinoza. Left-footed cross. Ogren there to head it away. Falls to Mota. Left-footed drive. Fantastic goal. And Inter Miami grabs the lead in the 12th minute.
Well, the Earthquakes have good numbers here on the ball, but the challenge is that the midfield is really collapsed on the back line, and so they're unable to get pressure on the ball when this first ball gets cleared. Looks to be like Oscar Ogren and Jackson Mule just not close enough to be able to get pressure on the ball. And then Mota, how about that first touch and then just a quality strike. JT Marcinkowski's not going to have a chance at that one. Connects well with it from just around the top of the box.
Also at 10:30, Portland Timbers, Nashville SC. Jarrett and I talked about it yesterday. We have concerns about Nashville SC not being able to score and get full points instead of drawing their way through life. What would happen at Providence Park against the Portland Timbers. Portland coming in as a home favorite at a plus 121. Your draw is a plus 260. Nashville SC is a plus 204. Here's your highlights courtesy of our friends at Root Sports and Major League Soccer. Jake Zivin on the lead.
The Timbers and Nashville SC underway from Providence Park. Tonight's match presented by Dutch Bros.
So similar with Blanco and Mukhtar, just with their movement. They're very clever with it, and they've got the freedom for both managers to go where they like.
Here comes Moreno. It's open for him. Moreno sends it over the bar. It was actually saved by Willis.
Centre forward likes to be in the air, but Santi Moreno, not known for his heading ability, but certainly going to be a nuisance in front of him.
Mukhtar to take. Flicked down by Romney. Still there for Bunbury, and it's in! A third straight game with a goal for Teal Bunbury, and Nashville SC has taken a 1-0 lead on the road.
Getting close and staying tight. It's a recycle. It's a second ball that Moreno switches off to. Doesn't see Bunbury on his left-hand shoulder there. Comes through. Bunbury in the end just going for power, and it's a neat finish. Aliaz just caught in between bodies and just couldn't get anything on it.
Such a difficult one at the same time because Davis is going for goal and instead he skews it and it falls kindly to Bunbury.
Blanco to Jimmy Chara. Jimmy cuts it back. Floating it into the box. Moreno! First time finish. Levels the match for Portland. 1-1.
Well, this is a man who has been in form, and you talk about the Timbers, their success of late. You look at Blanco, you need to look at Santi Moreno. The way that he is coming in to real form, his confidence as a player, and doesn't he take this well? As the ball just drops into him, just takes it on the full volley, controls it so well, allows that ball to drop to the right moment, and hits it so sweetly into the back of the net. There is a question whether there would be offside on that initial header coming into Santi Moreno.
So Portland-Nashville ends up a 1-1 draw, and that leads us into the standings heading into Friday night football. The one matchup on Friday, Vancouver and Houston. That one is MLS After Dark at 10:30. So we'll see what happens with that matchup. But in the East, Philadelphia's at 45 points. They've won their last 5. NYC, unbeaten in their last 5. They're at 42. CF Montreal, they've won 3 of 4. They're now at 39 points in third. Red Bulls at 36 points. They've lost 2 of 3. Orlando City is at 30 points, and here's where the fun starts. 23 matches played, 30 points. They've lost 2 in a row. They have one more win than Columbus. Columbus has 22 matches on board. Remember the match against Charlotte, they're going to have to pick that one up in the 16th minute. In short order to get everybody back online. Columbus, one less win, 22 matches played. They're in 6th at 30 points. Charlotte, with their win, their 9th win of the season, 23 matches. They're in the final playoff spot right now. 9 wins to Inter Miami's 8 wins to FC Cincinnati's 7 wins, all at 29 points. Chicago Fire's at 27 points, unbeaten in their last 4. Revs at 27 points. They've drawn their last 2. Atlanta United is at 25 points, 22 matches played. So 5 through 12 separated by 5 points. Some folks have a match in hand. That gets picked up, at least briefly, on the weekend. DC United is behind Toronto FC in the East at 23 points to 21. In the West, LAFC's won their last 4. They are at 48 points, and LAFC last night was a part of the Leagues Cup doubleheader showcase kickoff at SoFi Stadium, where they went ahead and played at a stadium that was 110 by 68 3/4, I believe. And everybody said, yeah, that's cool, no worries there. So you had LAFC losing in penalties to Club America 6-5, goalless through regulation. And the LA Galaxy in the early match there, against Chivas, won by the score of 2-0. So that was your showcase, your Leagues Cup showcase at SoFi Stadium. But SoFi Stadium, and everybody knows that they're going to have to expand that field a little bigger than 68 3/4. But last night it served its purpose in having 71,000 folks watching soccer matches in Los Angeles. LAFC at 48 points. Austin's at 44. Austin has played one more match. Minnesota United's at 35 points, and here's where the fun starts. Minnesota United, 10 wins, 23 matches, 35 points. FC Dallas, 9 wins, 35 points. RSL, 34 points. Nashville, with their draw, they've drawn their last 3. They're at 33 points at 8, 9, and 7, 24 matches played. Seattle, having played in the midweek, 32, and they've won 2 of 3, not necessarily in the most convincing fashion, but we'll get into it with Nico Moreno later on your Thursday here on the network, so set your notifications when it's Thursdays with Nico and probably water, considering the time of day that we're going to be talking with him. That's your playoff picture right now. Portland has 3 less wins than Seattle. That's why they're in 8th at 32 points. They've also drawn 3 of their last 4. Galaxy at 30 points have lost 4 of 5. Colorado's at 27 points, and they have a better goal difference than Vancouver, -3 to -13. Houston's at 25. San Jose with the loss. They've lost 3 of 4. They're at 23 points. And Sporting Kansas City, 20 points in 24 matches played. So that's how things currently stand in Major League Soccer as we get you ready for Friday Night Football. 4 matches in the midweek, so your weekend very, very busy. 1 match on Friday Night Football. Then you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 matches on your Saturday starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with Atlanta United hosting Seattle. Atlanta United's a favorite at a -105. We'll get into what we're looking at in this particular match tomorrow with the weekend whip-around, patent pending, and trademark coming. Taking a tour with everything else going on around soccer. We'll get you into previews and transactions. First and foremost, we all know the Premier League. So if you're in a Premier League fantasy team, go ahead and set your lineups because I've certainly had to do that. And I'll let you know what my lineup is tomorrow. In my fantasy league, have a bit of a tour of everything going on in the Premier League to get you through your Thursday here. First off, your first stop is Spurs and their training facility with a rundown of what they've had to do in the offseason to try to compete and stay top 4. Here's that rundown at practice, courtesy of our friends at Sky Sports News.
Ivan Perisic, another player who's worked under Antonio Conte. He knows Conte very, very well. He's won it pretty much everything in the game as well. So he brings a winning mentality into this squad. Spurs have also signed goalkeeper Fraser Forster. Jed Spence is out there as well. Of course, he had a fantastic loan spell at Nottingham Forest last year, didn't he? Forest wanted to keep him, but he ended up joining Tottenham Hotspur. Clement Lenier, French international, left centre-back. He joined from Barcelona on loan until the end of the season. He's impressed in his last couple of matches against Rangers and Roma in pre-season. One player you don't see out there is Yves Bissouma. Tottenham Hotspur signed him from Brighton. He is a doubt for Saturday. We'll get more on that from Antonio Conte. I will be speaking to him around 2 o'clock. I mentioned Perisic, he's there as well, of course. And the £60 million man, Richarlison, they signed him from Everton. He joined Tottenham just before their tour of South Korea. So he's bedded in already, and that is important. We've seen it as well, haven't we, at Arsenal with Gabriel Jesus. He settled in really well, and the importance of getting players in early. However, does that mean Tottenham's business is done? I would say doubt it very much. I think they're looking to get a couple more in, maybe one more player at the back, a potential attack-minded creative / midfielder as well. Spurs might want as well. But look, let's look at the positives, what they've got ahead of Saturday against Southampton. They've got a front 3 which is pretty formidable. Fantasy football fans love them. Harry Kane, Heung-min Son and Dejan Kulusevski. I expect them 3 to all start against Southampton on Saturday. Another reason for that as well is Richarlison has a 1-game ban for his charge when playing for Everton, throwing a flare back into the fans at Goodison. So he has a 1-game ban. But I mean, people will say anyway, they might have expected Kulusevski to keep his place in the side anyway. He finished the season with a couple of goals at Norwich, and he was a brilliant signing from Juventus last January alongside Rodrigo Bentancur. So Spurs have made a number of signings, however maybe only 1 or or two might actually start against Southampton on Saturday. So Antonio Conte will be very happy with the business done so far. But of course, the likes of Conte, Thomas Tuchel, Mikhail Arteta, always saying they want to add a bit more quality, want a few more players in. But Spurs training here, and Spurs will be facing Southampton on Saturday. So what is a good season for Tottenham Hotspur, you ask? My opinion, I'd probably say another top 4 finish and a trophy. But the key thing is, what does Antonio Conte think? And I look forward to asking him around 2 o'clock on Sky Sports News.
Arsenal, next up, Mikhail Arteta. Challenging season for Mikhail Arteta last year in the Premier League. Kind of fighting an uphill battle for most of the year and trying to figure out how to get into European football. By the time they were done, 69 points. Winning on decision day. That the margin there, they were 2 points behind Spurs. Spurs finishing in fourth at 71, having won 4 of their last 5. Arsenal stopped a 2-game losing streak at the end of the year to finish at 69 points. Neither team really threatened but 6 or 7. Sixth place team was Manchester United. We'll get into them in just a little bit. But here's your update from Mikhail Arteta heading into the season, courtesy once again of our friends at Arsenal. Their own selves, the Premier League and Sky.
Always been my team because this is our players, and always we have had the intention to get the best out of them. It's true that obviously we have streamed the squad and changed the squad massively in the last 2 windows, especially, and you feel that now the players that we have are more specific and better to the way we want to play, basically.
And you brought in new signings. A lot of people are focusing obviously on Gabriel Jesus, who's come in. He's the man who's supposed to score goals for you and so on. Is the expectation huge on Gabriel Jesus coming into this new season? Is the guy that's going to transform and kick you on perhaps to the next level?
When you bring top players, you know that they are coming from top clubs and they've been extremely successful over the years. They're going to expect that the role that Gabi has here is going to be very different to the role that Gabi had in his previous club, and that needs some adaptation and some time. He's done it fantastically well, and we're all surprised how quickly he's done it, but we have to share that responsibility, and he's an enormous talent, a player with a mentality that is so contagious and is going to give us a lot, but it's a team contribution at the end of the day.
If I could just ask you about Palace, of course, you played them not that long ago, and you lost them. You came out and apologised after that game because of the Arsenal performance there. A lot of people are talking about Arsenal, what they might do this season, but what about Crystal Palace? So they showed at the back end of last season under Patrick Vieira that they're really heading in the right direction.
They showed last season how tough they are, how difficult they are to beat, and how consistent they were at home, especially against the big teams, that they got some great results. They had that result against us, and hopefully we learned a lot of lessons that day, because especially 30 minutes that we had on that game were nowhere near the standards that we needed, and we paid the price for it.
Heading down to the bottom of the table, Everton survives by winning their next to last match, and then even though they lose on decision day, that win got them north of Burnley, Watford, and Norwich. But Frank Lampard, he and Jesse Marsch both have a lot on their plate this year in trying to stay afloat in the Premier League. Everton last year gave up 66 goals and only scored 43 in 38 matches. Finished with 39 points. They did stay up at 16th, but there's some news. Dominic Calvert-Lewin going to be out for a while. Here's how Frank Lampard addressed it, courtesy of Everton, the Premier League, and Sky.
Yeah, well, it's a really tough game to start the season. Nice to be at home in front of our home fans. Nice to have a relative clean slate at the start of the season. I never felt that we had that in my period at the club before, so it's important not to rest on that, but understand it's a difficult game. Chelsea will always be a difficult opponent because of the quality of the squad, the quality of the manager. We just have to take it as that, an opportunity to get hopefully a good start in front of our fans.
A disappointment this week though with the injury to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Can you give us a time frame on that injury, and how's it upset preparations really?
Well, yeah, I mean, losing a player like Dominic of his quality in the week going into the first game is obviously going to affect you. Excuse me. And I think we're probably looking at around 6 weeks for the injury. And I saw a lot of crazy rumours yesterday, but that's what we're It's been assessed over a couple of days, and that's where we're at. So it comes with the territory of having a squad and training at this level, and we'll have to work around it, and other players will have to step up and do the job, and hopefully that 6 weeks passes relatively quickly and we get Dominic back.
It's not related to the injuries that he suffered last season?
No, Dominic was looking great, really fit, really strong. I've taken him out for one pre-season game as a precaution, but through pre-season we were constantly commenting on how good he looks and seems, and very positive. So it's a knock for everybody, and particularly for him, because any player, I know the feeling. You're getting pumped up and ready for a new season. You miss a game, so for him, I feel, but we'll support him as we always do. And then, as I say, as a team and squad, we just have to look at the games that are in front of us.
Manchester United, we talked about them just a little bit earlier. Not really threatening for top 5 in European football under Ralph Rangnick. Finishing at 16, 10, and 12, 57 goals, scored 57, allowed 58 points. They lost their last 2 to stumble into 6th place as the season came to a close. New manager in Erik ten Hag, new philosophy from Ten Hag, new discipline from Ten Hag, players coming in, everyone wondering what the future for Cristiano Ronaldo is, especially after he apparently decided to just kind of leave at halftime the other day. So we'll see what's up with Manchester United. Here's Erik ten Hag addressing the season upcoming, once again, courtesy of our friends at Sky.
We know Man United, where they stand for. So that is trophies. But in the moment, we are obviously not there. But we have to get back there. And that demands, again, concept, hard work, and togetherness. And if we get that in, we're going to make it happen.
You said earlier it was next level, even from a club as big as Ajax. So in your experience now, your pre-season, in what ways have you found it different?
I think especially the fan base. And much more attention all over the world. So Man United is global, Ajax is global, but Man United, the support is huge. And so that demands more. But I think in the end, the differences are not that big. Because what I said before, the expectations in Amsterdam are huge. And Ajax is also in Europe, an established club, so the expectations also in Europe are huge. So in that sense, it's the same.
These players have been criticised a lot over the last few seasons. You'll have seen that from afar. Are they capable of a modern Erik ten Hag style of football, do you think, without loads of additions?
Yeah, but criticism is part. It's part when you play football. You have to deal with it, and we're gonna deal with it. And the only thing what we can influence is our way of play, and that starts with be a team, stick together, and have a structure out of a good concept. And when you do that and you work hard, then you get your confidence by yourself, the team, and also the individuals.
So like when the approach.
Chelsea finished 3rd last year. They were 3 points ahead of Spurs, winning 2 of their last 3, and they were still 18 points behind Liverpool, 19 behind Manchester City. Boli Clearlake comes in. Roman Abramovich goes away. A lot of spending by Chelsea in the offseason, and they're not done. Yesterday, it was sent out that Chelsea had a deal in place for Marc Cucurella after 1 season at Brighton. Brighton looked like they were going to end up flipping Cucurella to Chelsea. Right now, it's still in flux. Brighton came out this morning and said, not so fast, my friend. They took out their Ticonderoga pencil and waved it at the Premier League and all the press. After yesterday, it appeared that terms had been agreed to in the neighborhood of £53 million for Cucurella to go from Brighton to Chelsea. Brighton was like, not so fast. But here's the analysis of the deal, once again, courtesy of our friends at Sky Sports News. Kaveh Solkahal discussing it on The Transfer Show.
Welcome back to The Transfer Show, and transfers reaching us all the time right here on Sky Sports News, and it's a big one. Kaveh Solkahal.
Yes, Chelsea have agreed a deal to sign Marc Cucurella from Brighton. The fee is going to be £52.5 million. Now, obviously, a significant capture for Chelsea. We've been reporting for a long time that Manchester City wanted to sign him. But I think, in a way, City come out of this well as well. because they had a valuation on the player. They were not willing to pay more than £40 million for him, and they were willing to let him move elsewhere. They were not going to raise their offer. Chelsea came in. Chelsea believe that he is worth £52 million. That is what Brighton wanted, and the deal has now been agreed. The player will have his medical. Very good deal for the player himself. As you were mentioning, he's only played in the Premier League for a season. I think Brighton more than trebling their money in 12 months. They paid, £15 million to Getafe for him last summer, getting £52.5 million for him now. And I still think Chelsea are going to buy one or two more players as well.
You mentioned that Koulibaly in, Sterling in, Chukwuemeka close to being completed, Cucurella now close to being completed. What's next? Who's next?
Well, I think Thomas Tuchel is going to be looking at the right back position. We know they've been trying to sign Denzel Dumfries into Milan, asking for about €50 million. I don't think Chelsea will pay that much for him. Kyle Walker-Peters, another option at right back as well. And Tuchel also wants to strengthen in midfield, because two of his key midfielders, Jorginho, is out of contract next summer. Kante is out of contract next summer as well. So I would expect them to step up their efforts to sign Frankie de Jong from Barcelona as well. But a real statement of intent from Chelsea's new owners this summer, and the spending is going to continue.
So that's how things are looking in the Premier League for just transactions in general. You've got coaches who are sitting there and they're trying to figure out what to do. Jesse Marsch in his first year with Leeds United in full from the absolute beginning, hoping to have a healthy Patrick Bamford, Crystal Palace, and Patrick Vieira. They're looking to add some reinforcements, possibly Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Patrick Vieira said that basically you never say never on something like that on a return for a player. But right now, no new news from Crystal Palace as they get ready for Arsenal, and they are a big road dog on Friday night. Right now, Arsenal's at a minus 119 as a road favorite. Busy weekend in the Prem. It is the one match on Friday night. You have 6 matches on Saturday, and then you have 3 on Sunday. We'll get into those juice boxes as we get closer. We'll talk about them on the Friday show and get you ready for the Premier League once again. And I'll mention this, too, for those of you in the Fantasy League for Major League Soccer, because Ashley's still undefeated after the first 20 match weeks. So a lot of folks are chasing on double match weeks. A lot of folks took a good dive on Seattle in early competition. Some folks took a good early dive on Red Bulls and Colorado from an offensive standpoint. Some, like me, decided to take Carlos Coronel and have him in net, and that didn't necessarily work out so well. So that's remember, set your fantasy teams, if you haven't done so, to continue monitoring what's going on all across the league when it comes to both the Premier League and when it comes to all of the other activity in Major League Soccer. Spinning through Europe and transfers and the latest in figuring out what's going on. Man United is holding talks with RB Salzburg over Benjamin Sesko. We talked about that one earlier in the week, so we'll see what's up with that one and see if that one has any traction. Middlesbrough trying to sign Groningen forward Jurgen Strand Larsen. Bologna also bidding for him, according to Sky in Italy, as well as Strasbourg in France. Borough have made signing a new striker a priority. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's name was broached during informal discussions between Chelsea and Barcelona. Aubameyang's Barcelona contract runs until 2025, but it's understood there's a break clause next summer. Aubameyang has a great relationship with Thomas Tuchel, having played under him at Borussia Dortmund. Jesse Marsch at Leeds says he's already excited, in quotes, about the business Leeds have done this summer. Will continue to be prudent with any further signings that they make. Said Marsch, we were very sure in every transfer we attacked, and now we are evaluating the squad closely with what we still need. Frank Lampard, in addition to what you heard from him earlier, he says it's pretty clear they're going to try to bring in a striker in the next month. Losing Richarlison, going into the first game with Solomon Rondon suspended as well, makes it pretty clear that that's going to be a place where they look. Anthony Martial looks like he is a doubt for the Premier League opener against Brighton. That could leave Erik ten Hag with a decision to make over whether or not Cristiano Ronaldo starts. Also on the board, will he even feature? We'll keep an eye on that with Cristiano Ronaldo. Italy has interest in Filip Kostic, with Eintracht Frankfurt, Juve, and Inter Milan are both pushing to sign the player. West Ham remains interested as well. The Serbian international is not rushing into a decision with the World Cup less than 4 months away. Last year in the Bundesliga, top 10 in assists with 9, first in chances created and crosses attempted. Also top 10 in possessions, won in the final third. Had 4 goals scored last year. He's got 1 year left on his deal at Eintracht Frankfurt. They have offered him a new deal. West Ham increasingly unlikely to pursue a deal for Lille midfielder Amadou Onana despite agreeing a fee. Personal terms have proved to be a bit of a stumbling block. The move hasn't totally been ruled out. West Ham focusing now on other targets. Everton are now thought to be interested in Onana as well. Maxwell Cornet is in advanced talks. See if you've heard this one before. West Ham and Burnley over in advanced talks over the signing of Maxwell Cornet. Initially, it was thought West Ham's preference was a loan, but it now appears discussions are over a permanent deal with West Ham. Looks like they're prepared to meet the release clause, thought to be in the neighborhood of £17.5 million. If other clubs meet the release clause, the decision will rest with the player. Leeds teenager Lewis Bate joins Oxford United on a season-long loan. Roma very close to finalizing a deal to sign PSG's Gini Wijnaldum, according to Gianluca Di Marzio. The Giallorossi set to bring in the former Liverpool midfielder on an initial season-long loan with an option to buy. Jose Mourinho's side even trying to organize Wijnaldum on a flight to Rome this afternoon to complete a deal, so it could be happening right this very second. Netherlands international joined PSG on a free last summer, still has 2 years left on his deal at the Parc des Princes. Made 38 appearances in all competitions, but PSG have changed their manager. Once again, remember, Pochettino out, Christophe Galtier in, so players who were in favor may not be now. Chelsea completed the signing of teenage midfielder Kearney Chukwuemeka from Aston Villa, signed a 6-year deal at Stamford Bridge until 2028. Chukwuemeka played a key role for England's U19s this summer as they won the European Championships in Slovakia, scoring twice, assisting on 2 others on the way to lifting the trophy. So Kearney Chukwuemeka is now a pickup for Chelsea. Nottingham Forest still pushing to sign Wolves midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White. Wolves have rejected 2 bids. The latest is believed to be close to £25 million. Forest expected to go back in with an improved offer following a loan spell that Gibbs-White had with Sheffield United last season. Wolves have no intention of selling the 22-year-old. Played under Steve Cooper at Swansea. He's got 2 years left on his deal. Speaking of Wolves, Wolves interested in signing Michy Batshuayi on a season-long loan from Chelsea. Clubs have prioritized signing a new striker before the deadline after Raul Jimenez suffered an injury in preseason. Currently working on multiple targets, would prefer a loan, with the 28-year-old Batshuayi seemingly not in Thomas Tuchel's plans. Spent the last 2 seasons out on loan, scoring 14 and 33 Super League appearances for Besiktas last season, 2 for Crystal Palace the year before that. Chelsea also have Broha, Werner, and Havertz as striker options ahead of Batshuayi after letting Romelu Lukaku go back to Inter Milan. Bordeaux striker Wei Zhou Huang is another option for Wolves that they're looking at along with 3 others. Everton want to sign Wolves central defender Connor Cody. 29-year-old has been at Wolves for 7 years. Lampard would like to add the experienced defender to his ranks. Wolves want to keep the player at the Molineux, but sympathetic to the fact that Cody wants to force his way into the England squad ahead of the World Cup. That means playing time. So got to chase after the playing time if that's what you're hunting for. So perhaps it looks like Connor Cody might be trying to figure out a way to get to a place where he can play consistently. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that one as well when it comes to any other possible transfers as we continue to work their way forward. Taking a look at the papers, avoiding the 3-letter and the 4-letter newspapers. According to the Times, Cesar Azpilicueta set to stay at Chelsea this summer with new owner Todd Boehly blocking a move to Barca. Daily Mirror, Alex Telles is set to leave Manchester United on loan for La Liga side Sevilla, but the deal will not include an option to buy. Ruben Neves set to deal his suitors a blow by staying at Wolves. Ivan Perisic asked permission from former teammate, close friend Luka Modric before making his move to London earlier this summer. Chelsea now looks like they're swooping in to hijack Frankie de Jong's move to Manchester United. Jamie Vardy paid tribute to Leicester City keeper now heading to Nice, Kasper Schmeichel, following his transfer. Kasper Schmeichel posted a nice goodbye and thank you to his social media platforms. And a UK law firm is investigating the potential of launching a group legal action against UEFA on behalf of Liverpool fans who were caught up in the chaos of May's Champions League final in Paris. In The Athletic, a Barcelona executive approached UEFA to use future broadcast revenues from the Champions League as a security to apply for a loan. UEFA basically turned their head sideways, raised an eyebrow, and was like, no, it's not a birthright, it's a privilege, and no, you're not going to use future broadcast revenues as a way to apply for a loan. And keep an eye on Barcelona because there seems to be a £150 million pound gap in financing that folks are trying to figure out what that 150 did and where it is and where it's going. So follow along with The Athletic and all of your other favorite sources because perhaps the folks in charge of the funds currently right now at Barcelona might be looking for work sometime soon. Nottingham Forest trying to sign Dutch striker Jis Hornkamp as part of their recruitment program for their return to the Premier League. Daily Express, Antonio Conte remains confident he'll be able to strengthen the squad with the signing of Roma's Nicola Zaniolo. Southend United in the lower divisions will discuss a rearrangement of their wording after a sponsorship deal with a local real estate agent meant one of their renamed stands would have featured the name of an infamous serial killer. You read that right. You heard that right. Go check out Southend United and the pictures of the West Stand and what we're talking about. And it was definitely a facepalm moment looking at that. Chelsea looks like they may be trying to abandon their pursuit of Inter Milan's Cesare Casade after agreeing to the Carney Chukwuemeka signing. Leeds are eyeing Arsenal and Liverpool targets as they step up their efforts to fill the void Rafinha left in the summer. Real Madrid wanted to sign from the Daily Star. This is interesting. Real Madrid wanted to sign Manchester City's Julian Alvarez when he was only 11, but were thwarted by FIFA regulations at the time. Telegraph, every Premier League player and member of club staff set to receive mandatory sexual consent training, previously only mandated for players under 23. We mentioned the Dominic Calvert-Lewin injury with the Daily Telegraph, also reporting he could be out for as long as 6 weeks for Frank Lampard. Not the way to start your season. Bournemouth close to signing Barcelona goalkeeper Neto as they're trying to improve their squad before the Premier League this weekend. Also on the board, The Guardian, the impact of England's Euro 22 success underlined on Wednesday when women's Super League clubs reported significant increases in interest from fans. Also in Scotland, the Daily Record, looks like Hibs are trying to bring Martin Boyle back. Aberdeen turned their attentions to Fleetwood midfielder Shaden Morris after not getting Dundee United's Jamie McGrath. Paul Lambert left the door open for a return to Fir Park after admitting he's open to a switch back to Scotland. So that's your news and all of your gossip from the papers. So let's get you into your action for today and possible juice boxes as we're pushing through. Europa Conference League is today, and it's all 28 matches in the Europa Conference League. And all those start at noon. So just to give you an idea, Hibs out of Malta, not the normal Hibs that we talk about. Hibs out of Malta, big underdog on the road. KUPS out of Finland hosting Young Boys. Young Boys a big road favorite. And we're just going over some of the we're not going over every matchup of the 28, just some of the highlights from some of the folks that we know. Apoel Nicosia out of Cyprus, a big favorite at home against a Kazakhstan side. Cheska Sofia is a big favorite today at home against St. Patrick's from Ireland. Maccabi Tel Aviv is a home favorite at 1 o'clock, hosting Aris from Greece. Molde is a big favorite at home at 1 o'clock, hosting a Hungarian side. Rapid Vienna out of Austria is a road favorite at 1 o'clock, heading to Azerbaijan. Cluj out of Romania is a big road favorite as they head to Belarus. Slavia Prague, home favorite at home against Panathinaikos out of Greece at 1 o'clock. Sligo Rovers, big underdog as they head to Norway to take on Viking. Zorya Luhansk chasing a Romanian side. They are a road underdog at 1:30. Hapoel Beersheva against Lugano from Switzerland. They are a road dog. Lugano's a plus 102 at 2 o'clock. Brøndby and Basel going at it. Within shouting distance, Brøndby's a plus 140. Basel's a plus 186. Breidablik and Başakşehir going at it. Başakşehir is a minus 156. Vikingur Reykjavik and Lech Poznan. Lech Poznan at 245 is a minus 147. Dundee United out of Scotland and AZ Alkmaar is at 3 o'clock. AZ Alkmaar is a minus 204. Hajduk Split and Vitória Guimarães at 3 o'clock as well. It is Hajduk Split, a home favorite at a plus 110. So 28 matches in Europa Conference League today. I think you can catch all of those on Paramount Plus and your favorite networks of choice. A lot of friendlies going on. You've got Europa League going on today as well, and you have 7 matches in qualification for Europa League today. Larnaca from Cyprus and Partizan out of Serbia is at noon. Fenerbahce is at 1 at home. Malmo is at 1 at home. You have 2:15, 2:45. Olympiakos Piraeus from Greece and Slovan Bratislava is at 3. Shamrock Rovers and Shkupi out of Macedonia is at 3 o'clock as well. So Shamrock Rovers is a plus 156 as well. Once again, follow along on your favorite providers. They should be up and around and across the board. If you are a true fan of European football, and the smaller the club, the better, definitely the day to do it. A lot of action in South America and in Europe. Colombia, Venezuela, Guatemala, Brazil. Copa Sudamericana is tonight. And you have Melgar from Peru against Internacional from Brazil. Juice boxes at 6:15 are kind of throwing that playoff putting a blanket over these two teams. Melgar is a plus 162 at home. Internacional is a plus 172 on the road. Also on the board tonight after 6:15, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Liga de Expansión from Mexico is at 8 o'clock. Morelia and Correcaminos. Real España from Honduras against Real Esteli from Nicaragua, and CONCACAF League is at 8 o'clock. Copa Libertadores is going on as well. Atlético Paranaense and Estudiantes, that one is at 8:30. And Atlético Paranaense is a minus 115. Estudiantes is a plus 341. Your draw is a plus 237. That gets you to 8:30. Atlas and Querétaro is at 10 o'clock in Liga MX. CONCACAF League, a team from Guatemala, Municipal, is going up against Vega Real from the Dominican Republic. That one is at 10 o'clock. Municipal is a big home favorite at a minus 455. Adding some details with some of our favorite sources about transfers and people moving from place to place. Gini Wijnaldum from Fabrizio Romano will be unveiled as a new Roma player, loaned with a buy option at €8 million. Roma will pay €5 million and around 50% of his salary, confirmed since Monday night. Galche, according to Fabrizio Romano, Christoph Galche confirms there will be 3 more signings this summer after Renato Sanchez, Vitinha, Mukiele, and Ekitike. So Luis Campos' plan for a new center back, a new midfielder, and a new striker, so keep an eye on PSG. No $25 million Euro bid for Umar Sadiq from Borussia Dortmund. Villarreal are the favorites in the race to sign Sadiq as a priority. Negotiations continue, but official talks have not opened up as of now. Angelino now seriously considering Hoffenheim as a potential option for his future. Negotiations ongoing. Up to the player as Leipzig ready to let him leave. Hoffenheim is now feeling optimistic on a deal. Manuel Iwu leaving Rapid and joining Cremonese on a permanent deal. Rapid will get €3.5 million fees with add-ons included, and the contract is until June of 2026. Olympique Marseille is going to pay €11 million plus 4.5 in add-ons for Jordan Veretout. Permanent deal agreed and medicals being scheduled. Veretout will be in Marseille in order to complete the move. Next step looks like it's going to be Alexis Sanchez, and there are negotiations there soon as well. Alex Collado could leave Barcelona in the next couple of days. The Spanish midfielder asked Xavi to leave the club and have chances to play as he wants regular game time after direct conversations with the manager currently under contract at Barca until June of 2024. Wolves' proposal, we mentioned Yuzhou Huang. That Wolves bid has been submitted. Negotiations now with Bordeaux for the striker, one of the new targets for Bruno Lage. Todd Bowley, confident that Chukwuemeka will stay at Chelsea and that won't just be a loan move. Quote, one of the most exciting young players in Europe, delighted to add such a talented midfield, a young individual to our squad this season and beyond. So that's your update from Fabrizio Romano about activity going on overseas. Spurs are still pursuing, according to Ben Jacobs, still pursuing Nicola Zaniolo, open to a move. Milan have cooled on Yaphet Tanganga for now. Jose Mourinho likes him, so we'll keep an eye on that. Zaniolo, Spurs believe that Roma's price tag of £50 million is $10 million too high based on his potential, but his form was patchy, according to Jacobs last season. Further talks expected next week. Spurs are in no rush as the outgoings remain the priority. Newcastle have not come back for bid number 3 with James Maddison yet. I think we're up to £40 million for that. Eddie Howe still pushing for that player. Second bid rejected. So we've gone 30, we've gone 40, and still chasing something in the 50 to 60 range. Chelsea assessing whether to make a bigger bid for Wesley Fofana over at Leicester. Previously reported, according to Ben Jacobs, clubs around $20 million apart in the valuation, £20 million. Initial approach is near instantly rejected. Leicester's somewhat interested in Callum Hudson-Odoi, but if there's any movement, it would be discussed separately. Fofana wants the move, but when he signed in March, the agreement was Leicester would listen to fair offers in 2023. And apparently it's going to take, according to Jacobs, at least £80 million to test Leicester's resolve. Jacobs also following in on the Mark Cucurella situation. He says Brighton's denial is perfectly normal. They won't confirm until Levi Colwill's deal is also completed, even though it's technically separate, but there's a full agreement for Cucurella in place. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. That's a bit of the day. Very, very busy day across the board with a lot going on in a bunch of different places and a bunch of different teams. But that's just a small sample of what's going on today. Once again, reminders. Nico Moreno up later today with Thursdays with Nico. Previewing the NPSL Championship, FC Motown Crossfire Redmond. That'll be up later this afternoon. The show that we had at Red Hair Brewing coming up yesterday. That'll be on the network as well. So a big day across the board on a bunch of different fronts. Thanks for hanging out with us here at SDH, and thanks for bringing us your Thursday thoughts as well. Reminder from, I believe it was Abby, if I'm not mistaken, the reminder that somebody's having a birthday on Saturday. And so his 5-0 is going to be his last Atlanta United tailgate, and we need 3 points. You're right there with you. So Darren Eales apparently gets to have a birthday present hammering the Golden Spike, and it's going to be his last match before he heads over to Newcastle. So let's all celebrate Training McTrainface on the weekend on Saturday afternoon. Agree with you, Abby. Definitely needs 3 points, and to give the man 3 points on his birthday would be epic, epic, epic. So thanks to everybody who was at Red Hair yesterday. Thanks to everybody for listening today as we get you caught up on last night, get you ready for today. A lot of busy stuff going on. So thanks for hanging out with us here for Thursday Thoughts at SDH. Tomorrow, just as busy a day because we'll have our weekend whip-around, patent pending, trademark hopefully coming. For everybody here at SDH, for Jason, Nick, and Jared, I'm just John. Play it safe, everybody. Mucha plata, y'all.